Adarsh Arts and Commerce College, Desaiganj, Valsad, District Gadchiroli, Maharashtra. I, Dr. Shriram Gahane, IQEC Coordinator and Organizing Secretary of this one-day national webinar on acceptance of technological mode of education, challenges and opportunities before rural colleges. Welcome all the honorable resource persons for this webinar, respected principals, honorable principal of our college, and all the dear participants who till now have joined this webinar. It's our privilege to organize this maiden webinar on such a relevant topic, which is particularly related to the colleges of rural areas and our region also. We are very happy that we have got the overwhelming response from the participants from all over India. Even some of the participants have joined from abroad. I once again welcome all the participants and respected resource persons. Friends, this webinar will be chaired by the principal of our college, Honorable Dr. Shankar G. Kukreja sir. Sir has a long experience of 22 years, 30 years of teaching and 13 years as a principal. I request Honorable Principal Sir to deliver his inaugural speech on this occasion. Honorable Dr. Kukreja Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Gahane sir. Good morning and hello to everybody. I am Dr. Shankar Kukreja, Principal of Adarsh Arts and Commerce College, Desaiganj, Valsad, District Gadchiroli, Maharashtra. Respected resource persons of today's webinar, Dr. N.S. Kokode, Principal NS College, Brahmapuri, Dr. Lal Singh Khalsa, Principal Mahatma Gandhi College, Armory, and Dr. S.B. Kishore, Head of Computer Department and Associate Professor, SP College, Chandrapur, and the delegates from all over India, which are actually from about 21 states of India and 2 Indian territories. Not only these, but few participants are from Nepal and Saudi also. I welcome you all for this webinar, which is organized by our college. Friends, Adarsh Arts and Commerce College is run by Nutan Shikshan Prasarak Mandal, established in 1958 in this remote area of Maharashtra. Desaiganj, Valsad, it is a place, a taluka place, situated on the bank of river Vainganga in Gadchiroli district of Maharashtra. The senior college is established in 1989 for the rural, tribal and backward people of Gadchiroli and adjoining districts like Chandrapur, Bhandara and Gondia of Maharashtra. Later on, PG courses in Marathi, Sociology and Economics has been started. In last year, In the session 1920, we have started the BSc and MCom course on the demand of the stakeholders of the college that we should start this BSc science for the students or the people of this remote area. Friends, the COVID-19 has much more impact upon various stakeholders of higher education throughout country and particularly in rural area of country. Suddenly, we have to change from traditional mode of education to the technological driven mode of education. This situation has created many questions in front of all stakeholders of higher education. Some questions are the institutions are ready for this sudden change? They accept these changes? Are these institutions are well equipped with required infrastructure necessary for this change? Are the students are ready to accept these changes? What would be needed for this new mode of teaching and learning? Are the institutions and students are ready to bear this financial burden? Likewise, there are many queries, many questions in the minds of each and every stakeholder, like students, teachers, parents, directors of the institutions. In this webinar, we are trying to put forth the situation at ground level in rural areas and some solutions too. Definitely in these situations, there are many challenges before the institutions, but we have to remember that always challenges can be converted into the opportunities. So dear friends, all we people, the teaching fraternity or the people who are actually associated with higher education, we have to face these challenges and we have to convert these challenges into the opportunities for our area, for our people, for the sake of our people. In this webinar, we have selected the topics which will be delivered by our resource persons, a great resource persons from our area. The three resource persons, as you know, that Dr. N.S. Kokode sir, Dr. Khalsa sir, and Dr. S.P. Kishore sir. They will enlighten us on the various topics which are attributed, which are given to them, which are assigned to them. These are what are the limitations of traditional mode of education which we are nowadays using before the COVID-19. What are the benefits of technological mode of the education which now we have to switch over upon them? What are the challenges before rural colleges in acceptance of technological mode of education? We know that there are so many challenges before us. We have to solve these and we have to use the technology for the sake of the people in this post-COVID-19 situation. And other topic will be the opportunities for all stakeholders in the acceptance of the technological mode of the education. Whether we are ready for this acceptance, whether all the stakeholders are ready to accept these changes, what will be the difficulties we have to face while accepting these changes, all we have to discuss at this ground level, because most of us are from the rural areas. They are working from last many years in this field. So definitely we have to face these challenges and we have to give the solutions upon them, and gradually we have to move in our field for the sake of the peoples or the students to which are actually seeing us how we are facing these problems and how we are converting these problems into the solutions or into the opportunities. Definitely our great resource persons will enlighten us on these topics. So without consuming much more time, officially I declare that this webinar is inaugurated. मैं इस वेबिनार के उद्घाटन हुआ ऐसी घोषणा करता हूं और आप सबका इस वेबिनार में स्वागत करता हूं. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. It is only because of the inspiration from our principal that we could dare to organize this webinar. Going forward, we now move to the first session of this webinar, and this session will be addressed by Honorable Principal Dr. N.S. Kokode, sir.
आने सर
हाँ सर,
एक रिक्वेस्ट है सभी को थोड़ा म्यूट करने के लिए बोलो पीछे में किसी का टीवी वगैरह चालू है किसी का
हाँ नहीं वो थोड़ा सर का
पार्टिसिपेंट की तरफ से
हाँ सर
प्लीज थोड़ा एक रिक्वेस्ट कर दीजिए सभी को
yes humble request to all
सर आप वहां से भी कर सकते हैं, म्यूट ऑल कर दीजिए बस।
हाँ सर कर दिया अभी सबको। हाँ we have muted all the participants. Now only the resource persons and the host will be on the unmuted mode. The first session will be addressed by Honorable Principal Dr. N.S. Kokode, sir. Dr. Kokode, sir, is the principal of a very renowned college, NH College, Brahmapuri District, Gadchiroli. He is having teaching experience of 34 years on UG and PG level also. Sir has worked on almost all the key posts in Gondwana University. He is presently working as a member of Management Council of Gondwana University. He has also been the Dean of Faculty of Science and Technology of Gondwana University, member Senate, Gondwana University. Sir is the Academic Council member of Gondwana University. Sir is on the Board of Deans. Sir is in the Board of Examinations and Evaluation also. Sir has worked on the perspective plan of Gondwana University. He is the chairman of the Board of Studies. He is also the chairman of Faculty of Science and Technology. Sir is chairman of Principal Forum Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. Sir is also vice president of Maharashtra State Federation of Principals. Sir has worked as BCUD, first BCUD director of Gondwana University, Gadchiroli. He is PhD in physics and has published 154 research papers at various forums. Sir has also worked as a member of high-level committee formed by the government of Maharashtra for reforms in the examination system in universities in Maharashtra through use of ICT under the chairmanship of Shri Rajesh Agrawal, sir. Sir has also worked on UGC major and minor research projects. Has had 5 foreign study tours. Sir has also got junior research fellowship by UGC. Honorable Kokode sir has authored and co-authored 11 books till now. Such a renowned personality is there with us today to address us on the topic limitations in the education through traditional mode and benefits of technological mode of education in present scenario. I welcome Honorable Dr. Kokode sir. It's my privilege actually to introduce such a beloved and renowned personality in our area. I request Honorable Kokode sir to please start the session.
Good morning to everyone.
Over to you, sir. Good morning, sir.
Principal of the college and chairman of the conference. In fact, it is not the national conference. It now becomes the international conference because the participants, they are Dr. Kukreja sir, principal of the college, resource person, my friend Principal Dr. Khalid, SB Kishore, renowned resource person of the Gurdwara University, Dr. Sriram Kambli, the organizing secretary of this conference, Dr. Dote, को all the delegates and my dear friends, I congratulate the Adarsha Mahavidyalaya that they have hosted this type of conference, and all the participants they have joined. So I congratulate them also because they are now joins a burning topic today at the national level. All we are having the various debates. What will be the education mode now? What will be the examination system? And in the COVID-19, this pandemic situation, how will be the education is going on? All these burning topics we are discussing in this conference. So first of all, I congratulate this Adarsha Mahavidyalaya, the current topic, burning topic they have taken up, and they have given me this topic, limitation in the education through traditional mode and benefits of technological mode of education in present scenario. To begin with, the answer to all the, that is the situation arises today, is given by the National Education Policy. National Education Policy governed by the Government of India. We all are knowing from the beginning of the country's development. Before the independence, there was the Macaulay education system that in 35. I request the organizers to share my that.
PPT, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It has been shared, sir.
It has been shared. Okay. So there was first the Macaulay minutes in 1835, then goes up the Woods Dispatch in 1854. Then after the education policy was introduced in 1904. After the independence, Dr. Radhakrishnan committee that has set up the infrastructure for the India, and that was the real groundwork of the India to flourish the education in our country. The IITs, the national laboratories, the national institutions, the infrastructures, universities, UGC,
Slides पर दाखव ना सरांची.
during the Radhakrishnan
Slide दाखव.
Then after in 1964, a very famous Kothari Commission was there in 1964, and 10 plus 2 plus 3, this pattern was proposed by the Kothari Commission. And soon after, the first ever the national education policy was established in 1968. There were so many drawbacks during that, and therefore second education policy in 1986 was established, which were then after modified by the Yashpal Committee in 1992. The Dr. Yashpal, the renowned scientist and professor in the physics and UGC former chairman, he has given the concept of the NCERT and the CBSE education pattern in India. And 1986 and 1992, this two education policies of the government of India has given the universal access and enrollment. The enrollment in the higher education was very meager, very low. And therefore, how we can access the International Education Forum and we can increase the education level in India, that was the priority in this education system. very peculiar characteristics of this education policy was the retention of the children of age 14. There should be the compulsory education for the children up to the age of 14. That was a very landmark given by this education, that is the policy. And we are today in higher education system, we are saying a lot about the quality education, that the NAC, induction of the NAC was done by the second education policy. Then after, we know that Sam Petroda, the chairman of the National Knowledge Commission in 2005, has given the remarkable changes in the education policies of the government of India. And soon after, the TSR Subramaniam committee has given the very much lot of asset to develop the Indian education system. And today, we are observing the third National Education Policy 2019 is proposed by Dr. K. Kasturi Rangan committee. This draft is already submitted to the HRD ministry, and this is the revolution. Why I am telling this, the third education policy, because before the COVID-19, there was the Kasturi Rangan has given the remarkable changes in the higher education system of the India. And he want the main aim of this education policy was create India. हमें ऐसा India develop करना है that there will be a center education system. Everything will be at the center. It will be controlled by this central education system. A apex body at the center at Delhi, sitting at the Delhi, and controlling all the education systems of the India and transferring this India into the new phase of the India. Actually, we are discovering the India once again by providing the higher quality education to all. By this education policy, they propose that there should be the inclusive education, education to all, equitable education, free from caste, free from religion, free from any regional differences, free from any languages. There will be the equity in the education, and India should be transferred into a vibrant knowledge society. There should be the lifelong learning opportunity to all by 2030. That the literacy rate of this India should be the 100%. And lastly, what is the main aim of this education policy is going on today, and the government of India has accepted all the resolutions of this third National Education Policy 2019, that is global development. This India should contribute. It should be the one of the pillar in the universe, in the whole globe, that India should play a major role in the global development. That is one of the major, that is the assessment of this education policy. Next slide, please. This National Education Policy 2019, they have restructured the education system. The plannings of the, you can say the institutions, revise, and how should be the institution. There is a necessity of development of multidisciplinary institutions. Institutions should not be covered to the only one faculty or the subjects of multidisciplinary. And the courses offered by the students should be across the disciplines. And today we are observing that choice-based credit system is coming up. This choice-based credit system, the program across the disciplines that we have to select, and this type of the institutions has to be developed by this National Education Policy 2019. And there will be the three categories of the institutions. First will be the research universities only. The high quality research. These universities will concentrate on the high quality research. They will have the related teaching only. They have the only quality teaching related to the research. And there is this universities will be the top national universities, research universities only. Another type of the universities will be the teaching university. Their main task will be only the quality, high quality, that is the teaching. They will concentrate on the teaching parameters only. And they will have the very little bit research. They will do the research, but very little bit. They are concentrating high quality research. And third category of the institutions will be the colleges, the autonomous colleges, the constituent colleges, the affiliated colleges, they will only and only exclusively should concentrate on the teaching only, the high quality teaching. The research is not expected, just another remedy, but their main focus should be of the teaching. One of the characteristics of this third education policy is that what we are observed is the teacher management system. The first time the teacher management system is coming up, and that is there is a continuous professional development program in this case. That any new teacher, what today we are observing, anybody comes, whether he has teaching skill or not, whether he is knowledge based or not, but he is directly going into the classes. Now all these days has stopped. A new system is coming up. Any new teacher that is recruited, he has to go for the central training program. There will be 3 to 6 month training to this teacher. He will be have the training of the skill in the teaching, skill in the technology, skill in the online teaching. All this online teaching and new education he will procure in this 3 to 6 month training, and then after having a trained teacher, he will go to the classroom. He will not go to the directly to the classroom, but after the rigorous training, he will go. So already this national education policy has given the training to the teachers, and teacher will be well planned now, a sophisticated teacher. One more characteristic of this education policy, I will tell you that the talented students, the talented persons should approach to this teaching profession. They should join the teaching profession. And therefore, the government of India has sanctioned the merit scholarship to these talented students to join the teaching professions. One more thing we are observing, that by the year of 2030, there will be the permanent employment track system. The whole tenure of the teachers will be recorded. It will be traced by the institutions, central institutions, and there will be the watch on the teacher whether he is doing or not. He will do the advanced learning or teaching doing or not. That tenure of the teacher, it is recorded and it is traced by the government of India. So new parameter it is coming in. This is alarming to all the teachers that we should go side by side to the technology. Permanent employment track system is coming up by 2030, and every teacher should be ready for this change. Next slide, please. One more thing. Next slide, please. Here, see what I have said. Now, the lot of discussion is going on that online education, digital education, and all these things. But already the national education policy has introduced the technology in the education. Already it has done. Before this, before you can say the COVID-19, the government of India and the knowledgeable people of this country, the Kasturi Rangan, who is the chairman of this committee, has introduced the technology in the education. That now the classroom should go along with the technology. Therefore, there will be the central virtual laboratory in the India, and that virtual laboratory will help the teachers to access these laboratories. They set up all the details at the remote corners of the India. Whatever it is, arts, commerce, or science, or social science, or any stream, any discipline, you can say, there the virtual laboratory will be helping in teaching modes using the technology. And one more thing, it is going to happen here. There is a setup of NETF. There is a setup of NETF, that is National Education Technology Forum. National Education Technology Forum, which is an autonomous body. And what the technology you are going to adopt, the decision will be taken by the NETF. The sanction to this technology will be given by the NETF. What you are using the technology, what type of technology you are using the education, that decision will be taken by the NETF. And therefore, there is a central committee will be set up, NETF, and it will take the watch over all this technology. There is also the National Repository of Educational Data, NRED, and this is very one. This is the first time that all the records of the institution will be recorded in the digital format of the institution. setup. Another next slide, you will see. So already my point was that technology is already involved, has come up now with the education policy. The whole Indian education policy is changing. Whether the COVID will come or not, that is another thing. Whether you can say the any type of the worst situation in India due to the hazardous situation in India, this technology which is used by the education system will helping the India. Here I'm just giving you the ASH, the All India Survey of Higher Education of the last, that is the academic session to 2018 and 19. See the gross enrollment ratio, it is coming up, that is 26.3. In 2011, it was just 15%. The expectation by the 2020 it is 30%, and we are just approaching that figure. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was saying that if by the 2020 this 30% is the GR growth of our country, India will be the superpower. That was the dream of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And my dear friends, we are approaching that figure, magic figure, 30% by 2020. It is thus at the end of the 2018-19, we are coming to the 26.3. One more very interesting thing we are observing in our country, that the gender gap narrowing, that is the males and female, you see the GR ratio in higher education, males are 51.3 and females are 48.64. This match, this is just a very little gap between. So females are taking the more education now and they are at par with the males. This is a very interesting thing. But in 1 lakh population, for the 1 lakh population, how many institutions are there? 7 in Bihar, 5th to the highest in Karnataka, whereas the national average is 28. In our Maharashtra, it is 40 institutions, nearly 40 institutions. So the density of this college going up and up.
17 सालाची फोन होती ते जॉईन करत आहेत पण होऊन नाही राहिलं होस्टने बंद केलं आम्हाला तर त्यांना जॉईन करून घ्या येत असेल तर
say it was
गाण्यासाठी तेथे आहेत का
9%. In developed countries it is 15%, but in our country it is 29. This number should reduce. And the foreign students we are attracting is from the Nepal and Afghanistan only. Arab students, they are also coming. But there should be the situation that the other countries, from the developed countries, the students should come to the India for the education purpose. This scenario should be increased. And one more, that is the sad point for the GR for the backward class category is very, very less. It is need to be improved. You see the GR as compared to the national, that is the GR 26.3. It is just a meager figures. By the minority and the Muslims, it is still, again, it is less. Next slide, please. So with this scenario, now the teachers should have the 2 T's with them. They should have the 2 T's with them. The teacher, they must be equipped with the technology. Then only then the education scenario in India will be improved. And it is a sad figure is coming out. See, after the independence, the government has thought that there should be, India should have at least 6% GDP on the education. But see the figure in the 2019 and 20, only 1.7% of the GDP have the expenditure on the education, and therefore the education field is suffering. Actually, education is generating it is just training to the generations. It is creating the generations. But see the GDP, it is 1.7, and therefore what is the expenditure? I have given also, see in the 8 9 10 see the GDP. It is only correct in the 10th and 11. In the 11th plan, it is 19.4. But later on, you will see the GDP. What the government of India is doing, it is a less expenditure on the education, and therefore we are suffering very worst in the education field. We have to improve this. At least expected in India 6%. That budget should be provided to the education. Next slide, please. The types of education we are having, the traditional classrooms. See, last one. The traditional classroom, we are not giving the knowledge, we are not giving the education, but we are training the students in in entirely different way. We are giving the discipline. The students learn the social services. They give the extracurricular activities, cultural activities, sports, various schemes for the students. The students actually, when come to the institution, he actually learns the social life. He learns actually the true, oh, that is the integration, the India's, the unique India, the plan of the unique India integration. All this, he trained in that way. And therefore, not only the education, see, we are building the career of that boy. We are pouring the so many values, the spiritual values, the social values, the disciplines. All these are poured in the classrooms teaching, and therefore one cannot replace the traditional classrooms. One cannot use that. Even though we are going for the platforms, virtual platforms, online or the digital, where there are the educational apps, various service platforms, website, audio films, recorded films, and so many things are there. But they will be at the doorstep the traditional classroom, because in addition to this education, so many things we are calculating in the education by various means. Next slide, please. And therefore, I think next, there is no alternative to that. Here is the previous one. Here are the benefits. Previous slide. Here are the benefits of the online teaching. So many benefits. Of course, there are. It is low cost. If there is an internet and this infrastructure, the laptop or the smartphone, it is low cost. It is convenience. It is poor. If the laptop or the tab it is given to the student, the poor people can afford to the international education, high quality education. There is a flexibility of time. There is a scalability. Our classroom, there are the 60 students or the 50 students. Here we can have 100,000 students, no matter of the age, various service platform, peer-to-peer interactions, students-to-peer interactions. And here through the online, we can have the innovation and the creativity. There is an artificial intelligence robot. We are observing in COVID-19 that robots are playing a very important roles. Diversity of the various type of the faculty. In classroom teaching, only those particular teachers they are teaching, but now there will be the flexibility of the teaching, scalability of the flexibility of the time will be there. And in emergency situation like the COVID-19 or disaster manners, there you will see this online teaching is very useful and enhancement of the mental ability. So I will find that in online teaching there are the various benefits. Next slide, please. But at the same time, we'll see what is the digital, that is the COPUP of the India. That you are observing 82% of the Indian peoples, they are not having the internet. Only 1.2 they are having the fixed broadband. Only 5.5 they are having the mobile broadband. And 12% they are having the personal computers. With this background, how we will survive with the digital education, online education? That is also the question, and one has to go by developing the infrastructure in the Indian scenario. Next slide, please. Next, please. There is also the regional divide. Through this, online classes of the digital technique, urban peoples, they are 54.43, but in villages, it is only 12.81. And therefore, there is a regional division. So whenever we are going for the online education, first what we have to do, we have to increase the level of the rural population. Utilization of the population is very much need. That is one more target before us. Next slide, please. And there is a gender device. Male is having the more dominant, that is the prominent. The blue lines, they are for the males, whereas the red lines, bars, you see, they are for the females. Commerce, everywhere, whenever the online situation is there, you are observing the ladies are far lagging behind as compared to the males. So there is a gender divide, and therefore, whenever online has to think, we have to now the ladies should come up and the program should be started for the ladies, the rural peoples, and the other stakeholders. Next slide, please. So now here are the two type of the learning, the classroom learning and the online learning. Now classroom, the face-to-face, that is the teaching, that is very essential, as I have said. We should have the online learning also simultaneously. So why not we should couple two together? We should couple have the classroom, but we will take some of the very important characteristic, very online learning, and we will have the hybrid type of the education system, that is the blended learning. So blended learning is the hybrid one. Adopt the model, and then we will have the classroom as well as online, and hand to hand they will go. Now next slide. That is giving me. Next slide, please. Here the blending learning, the hybrid type of the concept, you can say the blending learning. All the advantage of the classroom teaching as well as online teaching, they are incorporated in the many technology integration, online examination, direct instruction, focus on the mastery, blended platforms. All the online that is teachings, they will be added in the classroom, and we will have the blended. So we are having a very versatile teaching. So my teachers, now at this forum, I will say that classroom teaching is far better. But all the teachers, they should adopt the technology, new technology of the online teaching, digitalized teaching, and have the blended learning, so that all these advantages we will have come up with the COVID-19 type. Next. I hope my time is so I thank you to all the participants, and I am very much thankful the Adarsh Mahavidyalaya, Dr. Kukreja, Dr. Gahane, Dr. Dhote and their team for giving me opportunity to give my views on the traditional teaching as well as digital teaching. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your informative and very insightful presentation. There are very important messages in chat box that tell that your session was very informative, very useful to the participants also. I once again thank you very much. The second session of this webinar is on challenges before rural colleges in the acceptance of technological mode of education. And the research person is Honorable Dr. Lal Singh Khalsa, sir. I request my colleague, my senior colleague, Professor Dr. H.B. Dhote, sir, Head Department of English, to introduce our next resource person, Dr. Khalsa, sir. Over to you, Dr. Dhote, sir.